Our children, state school life gets blown away. And there they go again, carving up the state schools. Gotta meet the budget, can't go slow. Political machinery wiping out the scenery. One big swipe like a shearer's blow. Rip state schools, tear them up like paper. Toss them in the bin, no school today. Nightmare dreaming, can't you hear the screaming? State schools die, watch them decay. Remember the days of the state school teachers, thought about the children in their care. Now we got staff cuts, money cuts and mergers, people angry everywhere.
Good evening. After a year-long standoff, the government has finally ended the Richmond Secondary College sit-in. Sheriff officers swooped early this morning, smashing their way into the college and sparking tearful condemnations. Sally Moore was there when the raid began.
The raid was swift and well planned. About 80 sheriff's officers backed by local police swooped on the school at 5:30 this morning. Using a grinder, they forced their way through the perimeter fence and onto the site that had been controlled by Richmond College supporters for 360 days. Within seconds came the sounds of splintering glass as the main entrance door was smashed. Protesters ran for cover, some scampering onto the roof. There were no arrests, but outnumbered, the blockaders were eventually marched out one by one.
You're not the right end of the property.
I'll be re-entering. No, I don't understand. They came at 5:10 in the morning, but we knew they were going to come at that time. We had tip-off after tip-off. See, at that stage, because of the rebel school, which I haven't touched on, but all the work that we'd done during the year, speaking, you know, meetings in godforsaken places all over Victoria, all over Melbourne, in fact, all over the country, at the Labour Party meetings, at union meetings, and community meetings, we built up huge latent support within the community. Now, it wasn't manifested. I mean, just before the occupation, we were only having 20, 30 people turning up to meetings. But out there in the community, we knew we had a lot of latent support. And that filtered right through to middle-class people and even into people in authority, so that in the weeks before the eviction, people in very high-ranking positions within the Liberal Party, within the police, within the media, actually tipped us off that they were going to come. I mean, one of the tip-offs we got, which was correct, that they were going to come at 5 o'clock that morning of the 6th of December 93, was from somebody, I can't give you his name, who worked for one of the top rating radio shows on 3AW. No socialist activists or Labour movement activists, a very, very right-wing individual. But that was the popularity that we had.
Is it a crime to want your child's right to an education? It would appear that it is.
The day of the eviction was pretty mind-blowing. We'd spent so long protecting the place and the manner in which they came in and you know, chainsaws, sledgehammers and smashing things about really flipped everybody out. There wasn't one person that just thought, oh yeah, that's fair enough. They just blew us all away with that. And I'm actually a bit surprised they weren't sort of instated immediately because the anger was such that, well, was evidence that night, wasn't it? We went down marched down in an orderly fashion to put on picket lines, and people just, their anger just spilled over and resulted in the reoccupation, albeit briefly, but the reoccupation that night.
Minutes later, a breakaway group stormed the brand new chain wire fence, and the vow to reoccupy became a reality. The handful of police remaining were overwhelmed. They watched helplessly as the mob swarmed over the school buildings.
We'd said that we were willing to leave the site if there was a guarantee of co-ed in the city of Richmond, which was a big compromise for us because we'd basically been fighting to have co-ed on the Richmond secondary site. And they'd been mooted and stuff all the way along that, yes, you know, you could move into the girls' side or this or that, but, you know, this seemed to be a reasonable compromise. Then, out of the blue, I don't know whether that was the mood of certain sections of the bureaucracy alive, but then that radically changed, and the decision was that we were just going to be evicted, and that was it, end of story.
I mean, some of us had an understanding, I think, or gut feeling that at some stage, insofar as we weren't going to give in, that at some stage they would use violence against us. They consistently upped the ante. They tried to sweat us out through the occupation. That hadn't worked. They tried to bribe us out by offering us a stage-managed exit. We rejected that offer. They tried to use the media against us with the red under the beds. That failed to split the campaign. They'd thrown $1.4 million writs against 6 of us, including myself and Alfie. That didn't work against us. They took away in half an hour and made the bargaining chip, the possession of the site on the 6th of December. That didn't work. They used scab labour against us, but we unionised it in the first week of the picket line and blew them out of the water through the support of the rank and file and some of the leaders of the union movement. So what option have they got? They couldn't afford to give in to us without a fight, obviously, because after 14 months of struggle, we would have been the first ones to get a victory against Kennett. So it was obvious everything was pointing to some type of confrontation. And we correctly predicted that that would take place on the Monday of the 13th of December.
Getting non-union tradesmen through the gates to refurbish the school wasn't going to be easy. The first arrest, a colleague tries to help. Shortcuts for some law enforcers, the long way for others. Tensions rising, police appeared from nowhere. They kept coming on horseback, by foot, and then the frontline troops.
Run your boys to it! We're here to save a school, and look what the state government has done to people trying to save a school.
It's been a year of simmering anger. They weren't going to give in now. The last of 4 warnings to leave peacefully.
You have 2 minutes from now.
Their time was up. The last obstacles removed, the truck got through, the gates firmly shut behind it.
This is no way in which police should conduct themselves. Not right. This is undemocratic.
And we discussed with the coppers and we said, look, we've got the picket line, we know you want to break it, we know you've got the capability of breaking it. So, you know, there's not really much more to be said. We're not going to be violent, we'll passively resist, you're going to have to carry us away. But we're not going to be swinging punches. We're not going to be spitting, and we're not going to be kicking. But we will be shouting at the coppers, we'll be shouting at you, and we'll be holding arms, and you're going to have to carry us away. They said to us, look, we're going to do what it has to take. They never said to us, though, that they were going to use batons, but they did say they would do what they had to do. So they offered us a deal. They said, well, we'll bring the scabs. You let the scabs through. We'll stop the scab truck just on our side of the gate. We'll let you talk to the scabs on our side of the gate, and if they listen to what you have to say, you win, and they'll go back. If they don't, we have them, and they can do the work.
Save our school! 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 Save our school!
and their blood pouring out of gushes out of their head just because some kids want to go to a school, just some working class kids. Don't you have bloody consciences? I can't believe it. You're bloody Nazis.
I actually enjoyed it.
Whose side are you on?
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Were you there on the second day at the picket line? And what sort of tactics did the police use on that second day?
In some respects, it's really a bit strange. In some respects, the Tuesday morning was more violent than the Monday. And people look at me when I say that and sort of think that, you know, oh, the pressure's finally got to her, she's lost it completely. Yes, there were no battens on the Tuesday, but the extremely aggressive physical manner in which they removed people with the pressure point tactics, and it was pressure point tactics, they came into prominence, as it were, much later, months later, when they were used on the anti-logging protesters outside the Department of Conservation. But they've been tried on us down there. But they weren't as dramatic looking for the cameras, and so weren't played up. People were more than happy to just run the baton footage from the day before. But we had a lot more injuries and a lot more people hurt on the Tuesday being removed from the line than we did on the Monday, for two reasons. Number one, there were more there, but number two, the very aggressive physical manner in which they removed her. It was definitely, in my mind, excessive use of force. You know, when you see a girl like half my size being, you know, grabbed around the throat and having fingers stuck into her neck, you've got to ask yourself when you see the two big burly coppers, one on either side of her doing this to her, do they really need to do that to get her away from where they don't want her to be? And the answer clearly is no. So it was excessive use of force yet again on the Tuesday.
That batons will not be used against peaceful protesters, please.
As I said, passive resistance will be tolerated.
After yesterday's baton charge, the rules for today's battle were very clear, denying they had been hijacked by radical groups or that they'd mopped up their injuries with fake blood. Protesters stood firm. Once again, protesters were simply outnumbered by police. One by one, they were plucked from the barricades. Within 20 minutes, the gate was clear. And workers, some wearing balaclavas, were safely inside.
We will prevail!
One protester was taken to hospital suffering chest pains. 3 were arrested for obstructing police and bailed at the City Watch House on condition they not go within 50 metres of the picket line.
Unions now admit there was a minority of infiltrators, but they say nothing justified the police overkill.
I'm sure it's been used in Haiti. I'm sure it's been used in lots of other South American dictatorships, and I'm sure it's been used in the past in some Eastern European countries. Of course, I mean, people sometimes get shot on picket lines, but
The court case starts on June the 28th. There's going to be a protest at 9:30 a.m. outside the Magistrates Court on Russell Street. We really need to be that as big and as broad as possible. And ways people can support that is, for one, turning up. Ways unions specifically support that is we're hoping to get a delegation from each union with a banner to show that they're actually there. And also, we need people to help now in terms of getting posters up and general advertising stuff about the rally around as many places as possible. Now that can include getting us to actually come and speak at a various range of community organisations, shop floors, and we'll provide speakers for your union and for your community organisation or Labor Party branch if necessary. After the protest, we're planning to have a vigil for the next 4 days, and that vigil will be used to sort of constantly keep the a focus on the court case, and to be able to use it to passers-by, so we can pass on information to passers-by. We're going to have puppet shows and street theatre and a whole range of other things to try and highlight the events that occur and also the events that are occurring. And so we also encourage people to be part of that vigil or to drop in, and visit the vigil during those 4 days, because that will help us to keep the media profile up on the court case, but also we're using the vigil to broaden the issue outside just the court case, to try and really make people remember why these 8 people are on trial. The courts will very much try to keep it down to the technicalities of the relationship between those protests and the police, but we all know that it's about much broader issues. It's about the issue of state education, it's about the issue of the right to protest, and it's about the issue of freedom of association and also the right to be actually able to peacefully just resist government policies without the threat of violence hanging over their heads. So we really want to, while in the courts, whatever, lots of these issues won't be brought in or be seen as relevant. We'll make them relevant by having the vigil outside and by making people realise the political context within which this trial is couched.
I need you right now. I'm lost in much confusion. Need a light to show me how. What's the use if I don't know what I've done? So start explaining. You want my trust. You want the best of me. Your one-way street will never lead to harmony. Can't help you, brother, if you can't help yourself. Sometimes we all need changing. So why does all our good work come to an end? Can I put my faith in someone I call friend? It's so easy to lose sight of who you love when they push and shove. My heavy friend, my heavy friend. Just not